We all, whether we like it or not, know the romantic and dramatic story of Elle and Noah from the kissing booth. And after 3 long years, we finally have the 3rd installment of this franchise, which is supposed to be the last movie and marks the end of this acclaimed story. An ending that perhaps left us with many questions, because while Elle and Noah had a romantic and cheesy ending, it wasn't what we expected. Today, we'll attempt to explain why it concluded this way. So if you haven't seen it yet, here I explain the ending. From the beginning, everyone, even the blindest, instantly noticed how toxic the relationship of these 2 lovebirds was. Because it was sunk in jealousy, lies, and things they avoided saying to each other. Both Elle and Noah always followed this path, which resulted in those intense drama scenes that Elle was always involved in. Like the time she ruined Thanksgiving Day at the kissing booth to stand. But in this latest movie, the plot is set during the last summer vacation, where Elle will have to make the decision to go to college with Lee, her best friend, or Noah, her boyfriend.
It was my fault after all. I was the one who was going to leave Lee. But despite how much I wanted to be with Noah, I couldn't stop wondering if I should have chosen Berkeley with Lee.
Oh my god! Come on, tell me, who gets complicated by all this? LA chooses her own path. He ends up not going to Harvard or Berkeley and decides to go to University of Southern California to study video game design. At the end of the movie, Elle and Noah had split up because he didn't want to be the person deciding her future.
Sure, you know what's best for you, but I don't want to be one of the people who makes you put yourself last. I don't want to be responsible for a decision you might regret. I know I shouldn't try to stop you from going to Boston, but if you decide to go, you're not going with me.
Finally, something reasonable in this movie? And as we see the story progress, we can already start deducing what will happen with these 2. Their breakup becomes increasingly evident, as while they had their dramatic and explosive fights, now they were more frequent, and over anything.
You know what? I can't stop thinking. Why does the guy you kissed in front of everyone wear the costume you asked me to wear? Why does he have it?
You always blow everything out of proportion.
And if you've had any relationship and it didn't work, you know what this means. It's the beginning of the end. But anyway, he decides to spend more time with the reappeared Marco, the guy who was winning her over at the Kisses 2 stand. Meanwhile, she was still going out with Noah, and still, apart from the couple's dramas. As if this wasn't enough, the best friends dramas are coming. He and Lee, where Lee got angry with him, accusing her of always prioritizing Noah.
It's just that something happened with Noah.
Do you really think that's what matters? I don't really matter to you, not compared to him, and it's always been that way.
With all this happening, their magical vacation ends with a separation and a reunion. 6 years later, Elle evidently broke cycles with her haircut. Lee engaged to Rachel, and the friendship of the toxic friends continues, as if nothing had happened. He and Noah finally see each other again, but the tension between these 2 is felt to the bone as they give no place or hope that they will reunite, concluding with a motorcycle ride as they did in their best times. One of the key points of this ending is that, like every toxic couple, they remained persistent in continuing their relationship. He, all submissive and unable to say no to what he thought, felt, and what really made him happy. And it is until this moment when he realizes that before anyone else, her interests come first. She rearranges her ideas and tries to understand herself, and she stops pleasing the demands of Noah, Lee, Rachel, and Marco, even her own family. And we can verify this when she says to Lee,
I care about both of you. To the point that my whole life has been spent, I don't know, doing what's best for our relationship, but I really never spent much time thinking about what would make me happy. Holding back from something so as not to hurt you, even if that hurt me.
So come to Berkeley with me. It's worth it.
That's what I mean. I choose Boston to be with Noah and Berkeley to be with you. But I have to figure out who I am. On my own?
She puts her decisions first, and finally, these are about what she really wants. Would leaving Lila Noah allow her to discover herself and be reborn from all that insecure environment, in which she did not feel free to express her opinions and make decisions according to her dreams? And one of the figures that helps Elle realize all of this is Sarah Flynn, Lee and Noah's mom, who makes her see that she tries to please everyone except herself.
Ella, can I ask you a question? Besides Noah, why did you want to go to Harvard? All the time I heard you talk about where you were going to study. I never heard you talk about what you wanted to study once you were there. But have you ever stopped to think that? Maybe your choice of place had more to do with what the other person wanted for you, rather than what you wanted for yourself. Maybe it's time for you to think about what you want to do and not let anything, no one change that.
We notice that it was a good decision for the reunion, where we can already see a more independent, mature Elle, and I bet even more so. Happy for all her achievements, despite how difficult a romantic breakup is, especially of this type. Moreover, it wouldn't have been healthy for everyone involved to continue like this. They would have built their own hell. But the time they shared strengthened their bond of friendship even further, even though the end for him and Noah did not conclude in marriage and blessings. So far, we know that Netflix has one of the strictest rules of all entertainment producers, and that every year they are becoming more and more strict. And in this case, we will see the strict rules that the cast of The Kissing Booth had to follow for the third part. And in fact, they were so extreme that even some of these rules were not followed by the cast, almost causing them to lose their role in the saga. The strict exercise regime. The Kissing Booth is one of the many movies that we all love. But if we compare its characters to those in real life, they have nothing in common. And this is due to one of the strictest rules that appear especially in series and movies like this, where the main characters almost always have to appear semi-naked. In this case, I'm referring to Jacob Elordi. If you think about it, the guy appears almost 90% of the movie.